It's time to go beyond the headlines, cause I don't put in overtime just so I can headline. Okay, now it's Fox Sports, I'm live with Renee. Going hard every day, sports rapping every play. Different segments for your favorites, coming at you daily with positive vibes, yeah, we some game changers. Basketball, football, soccer, with different interviews, you never know who may pop up. Listen, only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington.
Time for our Positive Vibes Only segment here on Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington. And joining us from Hotlanta, we've got attorney Jasmine Robinson. Welcome to the show, Jazz. So I have to ask, before we even get into your career, talk to me about your new normal between COVID-19, the Black Lives Matter, and Civil Rights Movement. What is your new normal as you're repping a lot of your gear right now? What's your new normal?
Right. You know what? I honestly, this sounds like very Leo, because I'm a Leo. This sounds like a very Leo statement of me, but I really feel like the world is starting to catch up with where I've been. If that makes any sense. So, I've always worked from home. I've always felt alone with my work, being an entrepreneur. I've been like raising my fist for the past however many years, like my brand is all about 5% of lawyers being Black. And this instance, unfortunately, gave me just another reason to highlight that. So, I really just feel like the world is kind of catching up with what I've been saying for a while now. And it's, it's a good feeling to know the seed I planted like over 3 years ago is really, coming into fruition.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's good, because a lot of people what I keep hearing people are saying is, I'm uncomfortable, I'm surprised, I'm shocked. I'm like, this is nothing new, especially being a Black woman in America. A lot that we're seeing right now, we're used to. It's just, we've always been dealing with these issues. It's just now with George Floyd's murder, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, it's so much more in our face and you can't. So I know I've been seeing you actively protesting, but also promoting the fact that you are a lawyer. So in your protests, you've got your brand, your gear, 5% of lawyers are Black. So I want to talk about your career as a lawyer and a Black woman and how you intermingle the two of them, because it's not fully separate.
Right. Yeah, it's not separate at all, and people sometimes they ask me, are you scared for someone to disagree with your whole brand and maybe miss out on a client or anything like that? And I'm like, absolutely not. If they don't agree with my message, what I stand for, I'm on the front lines whenever I can be. And if you don't agree with that, then you're just not the client for me.
I like that. And that's how I feel, because a lot of people have been saying you have to separate your career from who you are as a person. And my thing is, and I'm sure you could agree with this, I was a Black woman long before I was a reporter. So I cannot separate the two, because when I roll out of bed a Black woman. And that's what the first thing people are going to see from me before they even see who I am or get to know who I am as a person in terms of my character. As you keep reiterating in all aspects, and even in our conversation, seeing 5% of lawyers are Black, only 5%, which is an extremely low number. So I'm curious to know, when you were going through law school and even now in your career, not only what you're seeing in terms of lack of diversity, but also how are you helping as an activist, as an entrepreneurial lawyer, to help make that change, to encourage more people of all races and all backgrounds to pursue a career in law?
So when I was a law student, I lacked so much guidance and support and resources. Like, there was so much I didn't know. And now that I've created Jazz Talks Law, it's like, I just have so many moments where I'm just like, if only I had Jazz Talks Law. So what we did is we started coaching future lawyers. And that essentially works in so many ways, depending on what the future lawyer needs. So anything from, I have like personal statement workbooks that helps them tell their story for why they're even going to law school, to everything from, I have a pre-law masterclass, which is an online course, which breaks down every part of your application. And my whole goal is to get them admitted into law school with scholarship. The scholarship I did not receive. So I graduated law school with a lot of debt. And my whole goal is not just, so many future lawyers are just like, I just want to go to law school. And I'm like, no, you want to go to law school with scholarship. And as a result of everything, all the products and services that we offer, we've done over $2 million in law school scholarships. So, we're really catching on to something here, And it's really just been, what I find is there's just a gap in between knowing what you need to do and just doing. You know, you can do as much as you want, but if you aren't doing it strategically, then it's really in vain. And we are providing that strategy for a lot of future lawyers who recognize, you know, I want to go to law school, I can't afford to pay for law school, and we're bridging that gap.
I love that, because the financial side is a huge barrier. You know, that is what really does separate a lot. And there are other things like legacies and all these other things that you don't even know about when you're growing up.
Right.
Like now I've seen, now that I've graduated, now that I went through getting my master's, so it's beyond just law school, it's in all academics at a higher education standpoint, that there are opportunities to pursue a career that are not really known to the Black community or minorities in general. So you're able to provide that. So $2 million in scholarships. Wow.
And it's growing. I'm really,
oh my goodness.
Honest, I'm being a little modest. It's because, you know, so basically people are like, well, what do you mean by that? So essentially, I help future lawyers with their application process, from their personal statement to law school admissions test, to a diversity statement, to your recommendation letters, to even crafting your law school list and selling your story. You're selling yourself to these law schools. And what happens is you get admitted, and when you get that acceptance letters, it says, congratulations, blah, 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 and then it'll break down the amount of scholarship you're receiving. So if you're getting $40,000 a year, you know, that's $120,000 invested into your education. And I mean, like I said, that number I'm giving is probably modest because I get so many acceptance letters just from people who've used my workbooks and different things. And they future lawyers are really starting to realize the investment they're making, it pays off tremendously. You know, you pay $21.99 for a workbook, and then next thing you know, you're getting $40,000 to go to law school, you know.
Ooh. So what are the numbers like in terms of scholarships that you're giving out? You know, how do you help with that enrollment side in terms of the number standpoint? I'm not sure if there's a specific number or a target number you try to reach with each graduating class, or, you know, what kind of on that end are you doing to ensure that you're getting as many students as you can into law school?
Mm-hmm. So first thing I would say is I'm not actually giving out the scholarships. I'm kind of like that middle ground to help you get the scholarship directly from the school in itself. What I will say in terms of numbers is everyone that has worked with me, whether it's been with a workbook, one-on-one coaching and advising session, or, you know, however they decide to work with me, they've all benefited in some way. I can't put an exact number on it besides the 2 million plus in law school scholarship acceptance letters that I've seen over the past 2 years.
Right. And that in itself says a lot. If you're able to help students get total at least $2 million in scholarships, because I'm sure that number is more, you get at least $2 million in scholarships that you're helping students be able to apply for and receive. That is incredible. That says a lot. And I'm sure, and even the fact you don't know how many students you've helped makes it even better. If you're like, you know, about 10, like, no, you don't know. It's been so many.
People reach out to me all the time. They'll DM me and say, hey, I bought your workbook so many months ago, and now I'm, you know, starting law school this fall. And it's just like, wow. Like, I just have so many, like, pinch me moments. And it's just like, I don't know, like, I really can't put it into words, like how I really feel like I'm moving in purpose. You know, I really feel like I'm contributing to the Black Lives Matter movement, because if you think about, you know, our prison system, if you think about, you know, our public defenders, our DAs, if you think about all of that, it really impacts us. You know, if you think about the fact that we don't have, if every Black family had a lawyer, that they could rely on, you know, that is my goal. Those are the numbers I want to watch. You know, the number of Black lawyers in America should be equal to the number of Black people in America. And it isn't. 88% of lawyers are white male. So we have a long way to go. But by helping these future lawyers, you know, coaching them through the application process, and not even getting them to law school, I also help them, once they're law students, help them succeed as a 1L. A 1L is the same as like your first year of law school. It's just short.
I only know that because I watch How to Get Away with Murder. So I'm going to be completely honest. Like when you were like 1, I was like, oh yeah, like I know what that is from How to Get Away with Murder.
I love Annalise.
Yes. So I have to ask then, why law? I mean, there are not a lot of people that look like you and look like us that are working as lawyers. You talk about 88% being white men. So not only are there not a lot of Black people, there's not a lot of women that are lawyers.
Right.
So what made you decide to pursue a career in law to begin with, now that you're looking back on what you have discovered as your purpose?
Yeah, so for me, it was my crazy family. Literally, everyone in my family unfortunately, has been involved in some area of the law, whether it's been like a divorce or, anything criminal, or, just a wide spectrum of things. And growing up, I remember one situation specifically, and talking to my mom about it, she explained who this lawyer was, what their job was, et cetera, et cetera. And I was just like, oh, like that actually sounds pretty cool. I can help families like ours. And she was like, yeah. And so, that was just all I wanted to do. I went to Hampton University for undergrad, and the whole time I was there, it was just, I'm gonna be a lawyer.
Speaking
and I'm just happy. Yeah, I'm just happy I was able to see that vision through.
Yes. And also, even as you talk about, for families that need lawyers, and you have to have a relationship and trust with your lawyer that they're going to have your best interest at heart. Mm-hmm. So also, when you have that, not only for you to provide more role models for kids that look like us to be able to aspire to be a lawyer, because they know that regardless their race or gender, they have the same opportunities, but for families that need legal help to have someone they can turn to. That is incredible.
Yeah, wow. Reading up on, I was actually saw Breonna Taylor, her mom's interview, where she talked about just the whole situation with her daughter and how they basically lied to her and misled her about what really happened. And in my head, I'm like, what if they had a family lawyer on the scene with them, who knew the questions that should be asked, who knew their rights and different things, I just think about every Black family that has ever had a cousin or a brother to take a plea bargain, anything like that. And just how, having that input from a lawyer that's in your family that you trust, that looks like you, that you feel like gets your perspective, what you've been through, that's my goal.
I love that. So I know we've had this conversation before when you were on my show, Redefining Us, and we were able to get a deeper dive into making changes around race, gender, social injustice.
Yes.
Where can people find more information on you, and if they want to connect with you or just read up and get more information on whatever aspects of working as a lawyer, where can they find that information?
Yeah, so just as it says behind me, or let me do this maybe.
There you go.
Jazz Talks Law. So if you just Google that, you'll get my website, my Instagram website, all of that is just like how you see it, jazztalkslaw.com, @jazztalkslaw. I respond to DMs. Like, I'm very, very accessible. I've been told that, I don't look like the average lawyer, which I actually love, because I feel like it makes you feel like you can talk to me more as just a person. So I love that. So please reach out to me. And my email as well is info@jazztalkslaw.com.
Perfect. Super simple. I love the branding. I need to do that.
Thank you.
I'm going to be stealing that.
It's a trick that I found out about recently, thanks to COVID.
Yes. And I know you can do that through Zoom and like whatever platforms you're doing videos on. I just haven't done it. But now that I'm seeing it, I'm like, a good look. Thank you so much for joining our Positive Vibes Only segment. It is incredible to hear what you're doing to help spread diversity in your career, Jazz, and how you're now helping to pull others along the way as you continue to grow. So I appreciate you putting us on Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for helping me spread awareness.
Yes, and I look forward to seeing what's next for you as you continue to help be a part of the change. That's all we can do using our platform. So keep
in our own way
continuing the conversation.
Yes, I'll be back anytime you have me.